It's me right now. I'm back here with Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. Hi, Google Play. It's so nice to meet you. We are entering trial today, and I'm hyped because we've gathered a heck of a lot of evidence, much of which is damning and in our favor. We have a bunch of pieces of information that are pertinent that only someone who was at the scene of the crime could know about. So I feel like we're gonna be able to very quickly prove that someone else was at the scene. And this Forbidden Chamber opens up all kinds of new possibilities as well. And there's just a lot of weird stuff going on. Also, I'd like to apologize for last episode's fiasco with the frame rate. The past few weeks, I've just been, like, bumbling my way through every recording. There was, for the Christmas special, I used OBS and had something set wrong, so some of the games were running at, like, 20 frames. For one of the Kingdom Hearts episodes, I just completely forgot to start recording for the first, like, 5 minutes. For this game, I recorded with NVIDIA, and it screwed it all up, and it made it all black and flickery, so I had to put it down to 1 frame per second, and most recently, for the winter event for Hat in Time, there was just horrible audio desyncing issues because I had recorded it all wrong and it was weird, and I just should have used OBS for that as well. Damn it! It was just bad time. I'm just gonna try and not screw this up in the next week. I'm gonna try and go a week without making a complete mess. Oh right, and of course, let's not forget that the SpongeBob movie game, which occasionally does run at 60 or higher than 30. I've somehow accidentally capped at 30 for all of the previous recordings, and it's just I've just been messing everything up. But we'll carry on here, and I'll try not to mess it up. Equally in gameplay and in the production side of things. Day 2, court is now in session. All rise.
Court is back in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. The music is a bit bloody loud, wouldn't you agree? It should say the same for you, but it was loud in my headphones.
Apollo Justice, defense team leader, is ready, Your Honor. Athena Cykes, assistant defender, is ready too, Your Honor. Je suis prêt. Prêt, it would be, since you're a woman, I would assume. But maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
As chipper as ever, I see. And in French, no less. And the prosecution?
Got his chains back. He's worried. He's trying very carefully not to get zapped.
Very well then. By the way, I asked Detective Wright to provide sturdier shackles today. There will be no more of your funny business this time, Prosecutor Blackwell. Now, your opening statement, if you would. I believe it's standard procedure for the prosecution to handle it.
Wow, he's got his guts back today. Looks like the judge is really bringing it today. You probably realized how Blackwell played him. That was one mean game, as Simon says. Yeah, His Honor has to fight to defend his honor today.
Your baldness.
It's plain to see that you've always dreamed of delivering an epic opening statement.
I have? I don't know if I'd say that.
Why, of course you have. I saw it in your eyes the last time you gave the opening statement. That was the look of one who yearns deeply for the thrill of an epic opening statement. For decades now, you have been watching opening statements from your bench. They were the crown jewels of the court. The one thing you could not possess.
The crown jewels of the court?
Now, at long last, they're within your grasp. How could you possibly refuse?
So you don't mind if I do it then?
I'll make a special exception, just this once.
Here we go again. Yeah, more of Blackwell's mind games.
I mean, it's impressive how it started before the opening statement.
Both times, in fact. Well, no, the first time you just kind of threatened him.
Well, in that case, I think I might go ahead and make the opening statement myself. In yesterday's session, we learned the shocking truth that the victim, Alderman Rex Cupid, was the Amazing Ninetales. We also learned that the Amazing Ninetales was a key figure in the yokai craze and anti-merger protests. It was further revealed that upon learning Rex Cupid's secret identity, Mayor Damien Tenma murdered him. The fact that the crime took place in a tightly locked room was also brought to light, and the only people in that tightly locked room were the defendant and victim. The defense proposed the existence of a hypothetical third party, but further investigation revealed no proof of a third party who had escaped into the room.
Ergo,
we must conclude that the evidence against the defendant is, conclusive. Did I say something wrong?
That was quite astonishing. You've truly outdone yourself this time.
Oh, one more thing to boast about to my grandchild.
Well, this was not an unexpected turn of events. But it sucks.
Now then, it seems the prosecution has called a new witness to testify.
The inexplicable yokai evidence left at the scene of the crime. Well, does that not demand some sort of explanation?
The feathers and tracks. Weren't those left by the mayor while he was possessed?
That was but an act to protect his daughter, which I wholeheartedly supported, and everyone should ignore the fact that I was the one who was, like, propelling it the most.
Oh! Yes, of course. I had suspected as much.
Wait, did he actually believe the mayor's award-winning performance?
His daughter was the one who planted the yokai evidence. Ergo, the true identity of the yokai in the manor was the manor's maid, Jinxie Tenma.
No, she was sleepwalking! The prosecution is engaging in marriage conjecture, which is also what we were engaging in when we decided she was sleepwalking, but whatever.
Would you care for some witness testimony, then?
I'd love some! Ah! Stop punching things! That's my move!
For I am ready to prove that the little scamp is the one behind the Tenmataro farce.
Witness testimony? I'll bet he means Filch and that creep LaBelle.
Doubtless. Very well then. Bailiff, would you bring in the first witness?
Let's see it. It's Filch, all right. I mean, this should be pretty easy. He was having trouble keeping it all together. Poor dude, yesterday.
Mr. Filch made quite the hasty exit yesterday. See that it doesn't happen again today.
Well, I'm being known for my hasty retreat since I was a kid. A bit of a trademark of mine.
Indeed. You managed to give a total of 5 bailiffs the slip.
Like those amateurs could ever nab me.
Perhaps we should shackle you by the neck. That would keep you in place.
No, please, I'm liable to rip my own head off if I start running.
Your statement, now?
Yes, sir. Mr. Blackhead, sir. He may be in a haste or a street, but there's no escaping Prosecutor Blackwell. Yeah, Blackwell doesn't strike me as the give-up-easy type. We still don't know particularly her relationship with him, but I'm sure we'll get into it later. I mean, if we didn't get into it later, this would be the worst game in history. Setting that up and just never talking about it.
Now then, Mr. Filch, your testimony, please. Specifically the true nature of the yokai you saw in the manor shortly after the crime.
Yes, please.
Witness testimony.
Dun 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 dun. Bum 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 bum.
Right. Temataro's that little maid gal. Ain't no doubt about it. I mean, the Tematato I saw was just a little thing about her eyes. But that little run had a big old staff. I seen it when she came into the foyer. But she stole it from the forbidden chamber after stumbling onto the crime scene. She was going to use it to wallop me on account of my fierce reputation. I just know it. What? Yesterday, you said you didn't even see anything. You just heard it.
So Tenmataro was short in stature, and that's because it was Miss Jinxie Tenma all along.
You betcha. Besides, all the rest in the manor were way taller than her. Are you taller than her?
Feigning height is but an easy thing. But a big ox like the defendant could never pass for short.
The defendant. Oh, the defendant. I thought I got mixed up between defendant and witness, and I was like, this guy is like 3'8". What if the Tematato impersonator was walking on their knees? Why no knee walking? I seen it myself.
Then perhaps that you...
that's whose voice is that?
Then perhaps that yokai really was Miss Tenma after all.
All monsters are not but tricks, either of the mind or of the cheap parlor variety.
So you're saying she created an illusion, like one of those magical eye thingies?
Precisely. Human senses are easily deceived. Take the fellow in the cell next to me. Each night he cries and screams about some ghost he thinks he sees. But in truth, it was simply the janitor.
I love his prison stories. They always end up just being something kind of slightly sad. Well, some of them are a bit more than slightly.
Prosecutor Blackwell just gave up the ghost, literally.
The janitor's deathly complexion and all white attire are, no doubt, partially to blame. That and the fact that he constantly mutters about taking vengeance for this or that.
That actually sounds like a real ghost to me.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
Yes, and I didn't, notice anything off right up front, so I'd best pry on a few of these points. The yokai is Jinxie. So our argument against her being Tematato was that she's sleepwalking and therefore couldn't possibly have been consciously protecting him. I didn't notice that. I think it's more that Athena provided that as a possible explanation. She didn't really prove it exactly, was my feeling. And she certainly didn't prove it with evidence that we have in the record here. Anyway, I'm probably missing something obvious because this feels like something that should be easy to refute. Tematora's really that little maid gal, ain't no doubt about it. I mean, the Temataro I saw was just a little thing about her size. I feel like he testified earlier that the Temataro was big. Oh, well the spear, well, that's not being talked about now. But the spear we mentioned way earlier was larger than her and probably would be very, very difficult for her to carry it. And I sort of assumed that the staff was a similar size. The little runt had a big old staff. I seen it when she came into the foyer. Hold it! Well, you're not going to brush it all off by claiming the perp was short. Well, must have hit a raw nerve because you ain't all that tall yourself. Look who's talking, mister. I've got to stand on a box to testify. Anyway, Mr. Filch, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you say the Temataro you saw had a staff? Cross my heart, hope to die. I know, because it went a jingle and a jangle. And where do you suppose that staff came from? The staff, you say? Well, betcha she stole it from the Forbidden Chamber after stumbling onto the crime scene. Oh, well, this is the thing. It was locked, was it not? I guess I could put the key here, but I'll start by pushing that's not specific enough. Maybe they wanted me to push it, and he'll be like, she could have gone to the chamber that time. Hold it! I suppose you mean to say that Jinxie Temma entered the Forbidden Chamber to get one. Well, I ain't never seen a staff like that in the manor, so it had to be the Forbidden Chamber. Oh, really? The stench of LaBelle is thick in the air today. Jinxie entered the Forbidden Chamber after the incident. Then she took the staff and tried to cover up her actions by pretending to be Temataro. I guess that's what Filch is trying to say. Could Jinxie have even entered the Forbidden Chamber if she wanted to?
There is one thing I was wondering about. Why did that yokai have a staff in the first place?
Well, I've got my hunches about that. No, hang on, sorry, but I'm afraid we can't just brush off and go ask more questions, because that damn place was locked! Objection! It would seem that Temataro was in fact not this innocent little girl. Huh? How you figure that? You claim that Temataro you saw had one of those staves from the Forbidden Chamber? But it would have been impossible for Miss Temma to get a hold of one.
Care to elaborate, Mr. Justice?
I do! The mayor swallowed this key shortly after the murder. He wanted to keep the killer out of the Forbidden Chamber.
What's this?
This key was deep in the mayor's stomach when... the mayor... What did I say the mayor? This key was deep in the mayor's stomach when Miss Temma discovered the crime scene. So you see, it would have been impossible for her to get into the Forbidden Chamber. In short, the Temataro seen holding that staff could not have been Jinxie Temma. What? I said it would have been impossible for the one holding the staff to be... Okay.
But then who does the defense believe was impersonating Temataro?
Our Temataro impersonator is none other than Mayor Temma's aide. Objection! Oh, I'm not sure we should be bringing that out so early. We're going to seem kind of desperate for an accusation.
Such accusations beg evidence. Aside from his ghastly appearance, can you prove he is the yokai we seek?
Yes, in fact I can. I might have even let them lie a bit more to see how much more nonsense you could get out of them to prove they were lying before pulling this, but sure, why not? Let's bust this out. Obviously, it's not going to work this early because this is only the first objection, really.
Very well, let's see where the defense is going with this. Mr. Justice, please show us proof as to the true identity of the Temataro impersonator.
That would be the one we found at the scene, which was this one! Take that! We found this hand cream in the Forbidden Chamber, and we know that whoever was Temataro took one of the staves out of there. In short, I believe whoever this hand cream belongs to is the yokai impersonator we're looking for.
But, Mr. Justice, how do you propose to identify the hand cream's owner?
I'm glad you asked, Your Honor. The defense requests a fingerprint analysis on this piece of evidence. He wears gloves. This is a terrible idea. He does, doesn't he? Anyway, it doesn't show it here, but I'm pretty sure he wore gloves. How about taking note of the fact that it's this private brand? It might tell us who it belongs to.
Interesting. So you expect to find the yokai's prints there? Very well. I hereby call a short recess while we wait for the fingerprint results.
I mean, I guess it can't hurt.
No need for that, Your Baldness. We have the prints of everyone at the manor that day.
You caught Prosecutor Blackwell? Could anyone be more whipped?
Full right. Analyze this for prints. You have 3 minutes.
Your wish is my command.
Very well then. I guess we'll just wait right here.
It would seem the fingerprint analysis is complete.
And there were no fingerprints, correct?
What in the world?
They're Florent LaBelle's prints, aren't they?
They're gonna be someone else's.
This is absurd.
Prosecutor Blackwell? I'm not gonna like this, am I?
Don't tell me. They're Temataro's prints.
Fingerprint analysis has revealed that the prints belong to
Athena Cykes? I don't know. It's gonna be something ridiculous.
Phineas Filch.
Objection! I was kind of worried it was going there. Well, not from this. Wait, what? What? Because, I mean, he's a thief, right? And with this figure there and everything. And if he said his grandfather was there at one time, he probably wanted to go back and get that statue or something. That Mr. LaBelle wasn't the one who entered the Forbidden Chamber.
Why, you tricksy little Tanuki. Explain yourself now.
Well, sure. The imprints are mine. I mean, I did pay for that hand cream for Mr. LaBelle, after all. So you're the one who entered the Forbidden Chamber. So what if I did? Got a problem with it? Yes!
He's certainly freaking out though.
You fool of a Tanuki.
There's a lot that goes unanswered here, obviously.
Order! Mr. Justice, can't you explain what this could mean?
Excellent question. The fact that Mr. Filch was in the Forbidden Chamber, it suggests that maybe he broke in maybe days before. I guess it could be. Wait a second. Does this mean the Temataro holding that staff was Phineas Filch? Yeah, another cat out of the bag! Oh, he's admitted to it? Mr. Filch's Temataro? Unless this is like a 8,000 IQ cover-up. I don't understand. Does this mean Mr. Filch is the real killer?
The witness will explain himself this instant.
Well, begging your pardon, your honorship, but I was just doing what the alderman told me. He wanted me to be Temataro in the village exorcism ritual. Oh, you mean that event at the Ninetails Vale Festival? So that was you inside the Temataro costume? Yep, and after the event, I went to watch that pro wrestling program, but it bore me to tears on account of the wrestlers being complete jobbers. So he didn't actually watch the entire wrestling match. He left to go take the costume off in that room, I guess. That's when I looked at the Temataro costume, and I got a great idea. Nobody can tell it's me while I'm wearing it. And because of them superstitions, no matter what I do, the villagers won't say a word. The villagers won't say a word? I'm sure you mean the villagers.
In other words, you use the superstitions to effectively render yourself invisible.
Why did you want to enter the Forbidden Chamber in the first place? Because there's treasure there. I thought that was my big chance to sneak on in and nab it. Treasure?
Like the little thing on the scroll.
Only that it's the greatest get-rich-quick chance in the universe. God, it's so hard to say. In the universe. Grandpapa told me all about it. Said there's an amazing treasure in there. He went in there not knowing his grandfather had already pilfered it. Guess that's one tale that didn't get passed down from grandpappy to grandson. Wait, how exactly did you get into the Forbidden Chamber? There was a meeting in the Fox Chamber that day. Plus, the mayor swallowed the only key that could open the Forbidden Chamber's door. You couldn't have possibly gotten in. I could through the air vent in the foyer. No, wait, the air vent in the foyer? The vent's left of the alderman's picture. I went on in and made a nice little hole. Used that to get into the air duct that leads to the Forbidden Chamber, I did.
Oh, interesting. Another means of ingress into the Fox Chamber as well.
You what? But how's that even possible? Wait a sec. Remember that air vent in the Forbidden Chamber? The one I dismissed really quickly and you thought that was weird? So Mr. Filch found a way to get into that air duct. And that's how we got from the foyer vent to the Forbidden Chamber vent.
So Temataro was nothing more than a cat burglar. Or rather, a Tanuki burglar. And we're back to being without anyone to charge for the alderman's murder.
Looks like our so-called yokai is nothing more than one big troublemaker. Tell me, Mr. Filch, what did you do after fleeing to the foyer? I got out of that costume right quick. It would have just caused trouble at that point. And where is that costume now? Heck if I know, and it ain't my fault if you never find it.
The police searched every nook and cranny. No yokai costume was left in that manor.
What if it was tossed outside the manor? What?
It could have gotten caught by the wind?
No way! But maybe, just maybe, I think a mascot costume would be pretty heavy if it was that big. Was it a windy day or something?
The defense seems to have hit upon an idea. Well, go on, Mr. Justice.
Okay, here's what I think. If he's going to say that it got caught by the wind and stored away. I don't see what it has to do with the murder.
Mr. Filch, did you get rid of the costume here? The window, I guess?
That's what he just said.
Take that! Did you toss it out the window? Because that would certainly explain why it didn't turn up inside the manor. You think I tossed it out the window? That costume cost me a pretty penny, so how'd I go do something like that? I can think of a few reasons. Any bright ideas, Apollo? Well, assuming the costume really was tossed out from the window, the next question would be what happened to it after that? And if I'm right, I might just have just the thing to prove what happened to the costume. Phineas Filch, I have just the evidence for you.
You do?
This evidence proves that you got rid of your costume through the window.
I mean, they just showed us this. I assume it's this.
That's Tematoto flying through the sky.
And just how does that prove Mr. Filch threw his costume out the window?
It's quite simple. That's not Tematoto in the photo. It's the costume Mr. Filch threw out.
Oh, that's crazy talk. You ain't serious, are you?
I am pretty serious. There's a steep cliff right outside the foyer window, meaning the manor's pretty high up. The costume flew through the air after it was tossed out. That's when the photo was taken. In other words, the photo of Tematoto really was a flight of fancy.
What?
Yikes!
I don't exactly see how that helps our case at all. They're not still seriously suggesting that Tematoto flew away and then landed back in the chamber, or at least I didn't think they were, because Blackwell literally just said, well, it was Jinxie who was the yokai.
Oh my! So there never really was a yokai.
I can't keep any of them cats bagged! Can I still file a claim for the lost costume? This more than proves the defense's position. Jinxie Temma had nothing to do with staging the yokai sighting.
Oh, no, okay, I see. If we're saying the costume went out the window after that, then we can prove Jinxie didn't have anything to do with it. Fair enough.
Care to raise any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell?
None whatsoever. I'll deal with that Trixie Tanuki after I've dealt with this case.
We did it! Get going. Now all I have to do is make Florent LaBelle take the stand.
So, hang on, I'm just trying to see how that helps our case, because they still are claiming that Damien killed him. I guess it just proves that there's something more to be said about those feathers and tracks. Oh, wait a tick, but it still doesn't explain how they ended up in the blood, does it? I assume he didn't... I mean, you'd think he would have said something if he stumbled upon the murder scene. Well, I don't know.
Objection!
Yes, do tell. We're all ears. Athena is, anyway.
Sheathing the sword a bit early, are we not?
Huh?
Nothing has been proven beyond a doubt. Take this tricksy little Tanuki, for instance. How do you suppose he was able to exit the Forbidden Chamber?
Probably the same way he got in, through the chamber's air vent.
Well, Athena said there wasn't anything to stand on, and I pretty much trust her with that.
And what are the feathers and tracks at the scene of the crime?
Okay, that is still a mystery. For a second I thought we were just glossing over that.
They would suggest that Tanuki exited through the chamber door, not the air vent.
But the Forbidden Chamber doesn't open from the inside, so what you're saying makes no sense.
It doesn't?
Right?
Well, it doesn't open from the inside if the statues are turned the wrong way, that's for sure.
Someone on the outside opened the door for you. Isn't that right?
Yep, that's right, Mr. Blackjack. The door suddenly sprung right open. Hold it. Testify about that. Sprung right open? Who was on the other side?
I didn't get a good look on account of the sudden glare. What a bunch of garbage.
Like how the reflection from my head blinds fellow moviegoers emerging from the dark.
That's when I snatched the staff and made my daring escape. And that little maid gal spotted me as I hightailed down the hall.
Well, that proves pretty soundly that she didn't plant the evidence. Wouldn't you say, Blackwell?
That means the Forbidden Chamber wasn't opened until after the crime was discovered. But wait, we still don't know who opened it. Maybe there really was a third person in the Fox Chamber. Because, the other two were unconscious, one being dead and the other one being knocked on the head.
Well, you little Tanuki, when the Forbidden Chamber opened, did you see the accused passed out there?
And nope, the only one there was the alderman, and he was dead as a doornail.
If the accused wasn't there, what do you suppose he was up to?
Well, I don't like where this is going.
Don't tell me!
Plainly, the only one who could have opened the Forbidden Chamber was the accused, Damien Tenma.
That just doesn't make sense. How...
Thank you, Athena.
Now, wait a second! There had to be somebody else besides the Mayor Temma there.
Really? And who might that be?
Oh, well, that would be...
It seems our feisty little ass has forgotten the most important thing. Evidence.
You didn't even let me finish my sentence, you asshole! How do you know I didn't have evidence to back it up? I didn't forget! I was just... testing your attention to details?
Miss Cykes, you can't prove your point without proof of some sort. It's a proven fact.
Sorry. I guess I put my foot in my mouth again. No, Athena, we're definitely onto something here. We are? Think about it. If Filch was stuck inside the Forbidden Chamber, one of the alibis we heard would no longer hold any water.
The key, I suppose. Being eaten at that point is maybe what he's getting at? I'm not sure. I need the testimony anyway.
The defense would like to call a new witness to the stand. I'm really completely lost unless they're testifying. Someone who knew that Mr. Filch was stuck in the Forbidden Chamber, and by virtue of knowing this, has an alibi that no longer holds up. The deceased Alderman QB!
Not that insufferable. Very well. The court will hear what Mr. Justice has to say. Whose alibi no longer adds up?
Oh, of course. Dude man who said he was in the foyer with Filch.
Take that!
Why, that's the defendant's aide, Flora LaBelle. Didn't he claim to be in the foyer at the time of the crime?
True, but in his alibi, he also claimed Mr. Filch was in the foyer too. However, as we all now know, Mr. Filch was not there with Mr. LaBelle at the time. In short, Mr. LaBelle's alibi has disappeared! Florent LaBelle's alibi was one big lie! Isn't that right, Mr. Filch? I reckon there ain't no keeping that cat in the bag neither. It was all Mr. LaBelle's idea. He told me he'd button his lip about me breaking into the Forbidden Chamber, and in return, he said we'd vouch for each other's alibi. Ah! There's your motive for keeping... I couldn't imagine... I was like, could he really just have, like... If he threatened you, would you not have just, like, gone to the police? I couldn't figure out why else he would keep lying for LaBelle's sake.
Shame on you, Mr. Filch. Perjury is a serious crime, you know.
Ah, shucks. Mercy, Your Honorship, mercy! Aye!
I thought he was going to say something there.
I also assert that the person who opened the Forbidden Chamber for Mr. Filch was none other than Florent LaBelle. After all, his alibi has just been proven to be a complete fabrication.
I see. We will take a 20-minute recess.
What's with all the recesses? Can we not just have him testify now before he has time to come up with lies again?
Take a 20-minute recess, after which time we will see what Mr. LaBelle has to say for himself.
Yes! We're finally going to drag that slippery snake onto the stand.
In the meantime, the prosecution will question Mr. LaBelle about these new allegations.
What? Don't know. Don't let them in a room alone together. To come up with even more lies? This seems terrible. April 19th, 10:25 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3.
We did it, Apollo!
I mean, you did it. You were the one who brought up that Filch was stuck in the Forbidden Chamber. Anyway.
Finally dragged Mr. LaBelle into court! Yeah. Oh my god, those two security guards just disappeared. Hey! Why the long face? I can't help but feel I'm missing something important. Plus, Prosecutor Blackwell's bound to mount a counterattack.
You really are a worry wart, aren't you?
It'll be fine! That mystery figure who opened the Forbidden Chamber for Mr. Filch had to have been Florent LaBelle. I know, but that's not what's bugging me. I wish I could put my finger on it, though.
I mean, there are a few things I'm, like, not quite 100% on, but I'm not good at visualizing it myself. I need to wait till they visualize it for me before I can point out what's wrong with it.
At any rate, the big showdown with Mr. LaBelle is next, so chin up, Apollo!
It's like remembering the chronology of things and then visualizing a 3D space are like the two things I very much struggle with. So I need to wait till they do it. Right. Whatever you say, Athena, I will try my best. April 19th, 11 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. Let's change his hair color again. Now he looks like the Joker.
Court is back in session. Our next witness is...
Busy right now. Piss off. Yes, I'm acting on behalf of the mayor in this very important matter.
It seems the witness is
predisposed at the moment. Surely you jest. I will hold you to your promise. Remember that. Oh, my deepest apologies. This is Florent LaBelle, a personal aide to Mayor Temma, or should I say, the accused.
Ouch. Like the poor mayor hasn't suffered enough.
Well, what business do you have with me? I still feel like we haven't put enough stock into the fact that the alderman was drugged. We proved that at some point, right? And they were both drinking from cups, which seemed like a prime way to to drug someone, and they were both drinking from cups in the same area, and anyway.
Well, what business do you have with me? I'm a very busy man, so let's make this as brief as possible.
Your boldness. All right. Mr. Filch's testimony has revealed a hole in your alibi, and for this reason, you are suspected of having some sort of connection with the case at hand.
To think I'd be associated with this entirely lurid affair. Well, I'm not, so may I go now? I have very important matters to attend to. You may not. You haven't testified yet. I don't think so, Mr. LaBelle. Do you realize what a serious crime you committed?
Witness, you are being accused of perjury. This is your chance to clear the air.
Fine. The truth is I faked my alibi for a very good reason. The mayor was obviously the killer, so I created a fake alibi to confuse the matter. You see, as his personal aide, I felt I had to protect him. Sorry. Do you think this is funny? I know I'm laughing, but without your alibi, you're a suspect too. What were you really doing at the time of the crime? Peasant! How dare you accuse me, one of the beautiful people of... Stop stalling and tell the court what you were really doing at the time of the crime.
Silence.
Hey! Don't tell me to shut up. I was telling him to shut up.
Enough jabbering. Swords have been drawn. The time for talk is past.
Swords? What swords?
This is a duel to the death. The fate of the accused rests in our hands. Begone, ye of cowardly heart. The battlefield hath no place for ye. Damn it, I broke them again. Please don't electrocute me.
Again? Oh my.
Spare me, please.
Chatter, chatter, chatter. Jibber jabber, jibber jabber.
So much for sturdier shackles.
Those chains hindered my vow that heads would roll this day.
This gives keeping your head on in court a whole new meaning.
Will the witness please deliver the accused's death now? You know of what I speak.
That thing we talked about for 20 minutes. Most certainly. His goose is already cooked. Time to stick a fork in him. Whatever he has to say can't be good. As I told Prosecutor Blackwell during the recess, I rushed right over to the Fox chamber when I heard little Jinxie's scream. What? Then, a drum roll, please. No one gives a drum roll. I saw Mirtema opening the Forbidden Chamber doors. But...
There you have it. The mystery man who opened the chamber door, as witnessed by one Phineas Filch. It was the accused. There never was any third party.
But that means there were like 5 people in the room. How many then? So, if you're saying Tema opened the door... Wait, what? I could have sworn Filch just said that the only one in there was the alderman. No, well, he said he couldn't see who was there. So, now you're saying that the Filch, yourself, Alderman QB, and Damien Tema were all in the room at the same time. And you were just lying to protect Mayor Tema? Gosh, that's a confusing defense of yours.
Oh, and that's not all. I heard something quite startling there at the scene of the crime.
Oh dear, I know what he's gonna say. Forgive me, Jinxie, I was the one who killed Alderman QB.
Startling sounds bad. The mayor, who is barely conscious, muttered at this. Forgive me, Jinxie. I killed the alderman. That's right. The mayor actually confessed to the murder right then and there.
Yes.
He confessed?
Okay, could we ignore that for a minute, though, and talk about the LaBelle products we found at the scene of the crime?
Order! Order in the court! This is quite conclusive testimony if it stands.
Just so. And quite astonishing, I might add. I only learned of this fact during the recess.
Oh, how convenient.
I just love surprises, don't you? That's why I saved the best for last. Consider it a gift from me to you. No way. I don't believe Mr. Bellholder heard the mayor confess.
But is this really true? Did Mayor Tema really confess?
It is indeed. During that last recess, I confirmed it with the mayor's daughter. It would seem Mayor Tema actually did confess.
That testimony is quite favorable to the prosecution's.
This is the bell. Yes, I called earlier about the party reservations. That's right, and I'll be calling my little shindig Mayor Tembo's conviction gala. A splendid time is guaranteed for all but the mayor and his defense.
Well, as it seems our witness is a very busy man, let's get right to his testimony. Mr. LaBelle, please tell us what you saw when you came upon the scene of the crime. But if you could help it, could you tell us next time on any Turning Dual Destinies, because I'm afraid that's all the time the court has for the moment.
But oh dear, as long as he testifies about something, we'll be able to catch what he's fibbing about. I haven't quite caught on to it myself. But the fact that there were 4 of them there seems highly suspect. I mean, I think he must be desperate if he's claiming that he, the killer, was at the scene of the crime. So clearly we hit on something recently, right? I mean, if nothing else, it sort of contradicts Jinxie's statement, which was that she saw it flee down the hall. Now you're saying... Oh wait, now right, so was 5 people. Now he's saying that... Floron is saying that himself, Filch, QB, Damien, and Jinxie were all in that room. And if that's the case, that contradicts this testimony. But we'll worry about it next time on Turning Dual Destinies. That's all for now. Next video going to the channel is going to be some more Kingdom Hearts, though. We've found ourselves in the Hollow Bastion. We're getting reasonably far, but it seems like it's going to be a pretty big dungeon. It's probably going to be like a 4 or 5 parter to get through it. But either way, thank you so very much for coming around to this episode of Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. It's always a pleasure to have you around here. And I like the way this court case is heating up. They're pulling out twists, but they're twists that I foresee. Well, no, they're not. They weren't twists that I foresee, but the twists seem like a reasonable thing to be said. Unlike day 1, where Blackwell was just like, I don't know, the killer was able to fly. That's all for now. Thank you so very much for coming around. Hopefully I'll see you around. Admiral's gonna be out of here now. Peace. Oh, that seemed to do something when Goofy hit him just then. I don't know what's with my fire. It doesn't seem to my magic. He seems to just kind of ignore it. Is it just impervious to magic? Oh, I guess that's it, because my Keyblade is hitting him. Oh, thank you, Tinkerbell. You are a hero. Is she healing them as well, or is it just me?